did something there. Okay, so we're going to get straight into this one. Hi, this is Ruckus IIV and friends. I'm Ruckus IIV. This is Gazzy B.
Yo.
This is Poetic Princess.
Hello.
And this is Jessica.
Hey.
And today we're going to do let's get crazy. Let's do a 10-minute.
Okay.
We'll do 10-minute topics. We're going to shorten the timer.
Okay.
And see what we can come up with, okay? Now, the first topic, you're going to take over because we actually got this specifically asked, and we're going to go ahead and tackle that.
So this question is from Elizabeth.
Okay.
And she commented on our last vlog. I mean, is that what it is?
Yeah.
No.
Podcast.
Sorry,
I'm thinking vlog because I'm used to it. Yeah. Yeah, it's vlog. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Because I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can men and women be just friends? And if so, under what circumstances?
Okay, like was there was some detail to
Yeah,
that.
there's some detail. Do you want me to go into detail?
Do you
I didn't want to.
You didn't want to do that?
I
Okay.
wanted to put all of her stuff
Okay.
out there.
I want to answer this question because I think I can answer that.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that one.
But I could tell you.
Do we have to line up the context of this though? Like, under what circumstances are we talking about the friends thing?
Well, I think that's part of her question. It's
yeah,
about
that
under what
was, and she said,
circumstances.
and if so, under what circumstances?
Okay.
So
That's
we
a
could.
very broad
so what we
question.
could
It
do
is very broad.
We could how about we'll answer and then we'll go back to why she asked the question.
Okay, that sounds
good. So we
good.
can see
So
if it correlates with what we're thinking.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start the timer now
Okay.
and go.
Cassie B.
Personally, I think that men and women can be friends. I personally, since I moved down to Florida, I don't know why, but since I've been down here in Florida, most of my friends are females.
All of his friends are females.
All of my friends are females. Not all. I have a couple guy friends there.
I don't have. I love them.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good. Oh, thank God. This didn't get awkward.
No.
I'm making it awkward.
No, they're like, they're my best friends. I consider them family, like sisters to me. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know how to explain it. I don't really see anything wrong with it. I think you can be friends without having any sort of strings attached or any kind of like attraction. I think it's very much possible to do so.
Yeah.
I think under the circumstances that maybe that she's asking, I think under circumstances that you can't be friends probably is if it was a situation where maybe you were once in a relationship. Mm-hmm. At that point, you've already crossed the line.
Right.
So it kind of makes things a bit different and awkward in that sense because you have more of an emotional attachment with that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and possibly and physical as well. So it does. At that point, I think an X is an X for a reason.
Okay, and now with just real quick on what you just said, what if it's the scenario where it's a new person and they, for some reason, like what would be the scenario where you're trying to be friends with, in her case, I guess probably, guys, and they are, I don't know, I guess they're not making it easier for her to just be friends at that point. I mean, or I don't know. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I think if you've made it clear from the jump that that's all it's going to be.
All it's going to be.
And the quote unquote friend zone. Then at that point, that person, like in her case, that guy should know. Okay, this is not going to go anywhere. So they either want to be friends with her and be okay with that, or they just move on. But it depends on what their agenda is. I think what they're trying to get out of it.
Okay. Anybody else got a thought on it?
For me, like I said, it's a very broad question.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, you and I are friends.
Yeah.
I fully think that women and men can be friends. With what you were saying as far as relationship goes, I've been on both sides. Whereas things have been okay, we parted ways mutually, whatever, so we're still friends today. Just recently, I was heartbroken after a very long time. I don't want to be his friend. I invested way too much of myself into that and didn't get it reciprocated.
Right.
So for me to not be your friend and you ghost and cut me off, more power to you.
Right. Well, that's why I mentioned earlier, I think it depends on if you had that sort of attachment, that emotional attachment with that person, it makes it, that's where you've crossed that line. It changes the dynamic of the relationship. So at that point, it's difficult to, like, for me, in my past, once I've cut you off, that's it. I'm okay with moving on. I don't have a problem of oh well, can we still talk? I mean, no,
No, we're
that's
done.
it.
We're done. We don't
When
need
I'm
to talk
done,
anymore.
I'm done.
We have no more conversations.
Right, that's
It's
it.
not-
You
yeah,
know, but
know
I
what you mean.
think, like you said, if you've reached that point with that person where you've got that much of an emotional attachment, it's harder to do so. But you know, I think
some people can do it.
some people can do it. Some people
Some
just
people
can't.
just can't.
Well, yeah, and there were times that he and I would split, you know, get back together, split, whatever, and we could still be friends. But after this last time, you know, enough is enough. I
Yeah.
can't
Enough
keep
is
torturing
enough.
myself.
Yeah, because you're pulling strings on your heart. You know. and-
I'm not.
well, no, but
He
he
is.
is as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna let you destroy me anymore.
Right.
Right.
Smart.
Very
You're
smart.
sticking up for yourself. I mean, you
Stick up for
You
yourself.
value yourself
Yeah,
in that sense.
you don't
Know your
deserve me
worth.
at this point.
And
Know
I can
your
imagine that's not an easy thing because
It's
I've been in a
not.
situation similar to that, and it's well not like that in particular, but within that whole process, you have to learn to respect yourself. So yeah, it's kind of a weird dynamic when you add invested feelings to the mix of things.
Yeah, and then you go into these situations where it is strictly just physical. That's all you're in it for. That's all it is. After a certain amount of time, somebody is gonna catch some kind of feeling.
Oh yeah, there's no
Some
way you can
kind.
be physical with someone and not have
No.
or not have any sense anything about you. You cannot say that you don't want to have anything more than just physical with that person.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think that depends on the two people.
That's true.
Because a lot of times you can have two people that can do that, and they're okay with it, but it's rare. Usually, there's a higher chance that one person is gonna catch feelings,
Eventually.
and that friend zone thing doesn't. It's not a friend to them. To them, there's more investment emotionally, or something happened where they caught feelings, and that, I guess, that's where it becomes difficult because now the other person is, you know, does that person stay responsible for that other person's feelings? Now that they are not still feeling the way the other person feels, like so, we got one person who feels.
Question.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's making me evaluate my entire
Relationship,
life.
Yeah, like
You know, because it's
guy
like
friends. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I've been in every situation.
yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, in that particular situation, I was the one that caught the feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately, like you said, somebody's gonna get hurt.
It can happen, and you know that's why. Okay, that's where you have to be. Okay, here's my opinion about that. I'm gonna throw my opinion because I want to throw this to Poetic Princess and hear what she's got to say about it. But if you're going to do anything like that, the way I look at it, you need to be very clear about it from the get.
Jump. Yeah.
Two adults or whatever, you know, at that point, you
Yeah.
need to both very clear. Because if you catch feelings, if somebody catches feelings, whether it's, you know, you or the other person, you both are, it's almost like a verbal contract. You know where you stand, so you can't hold that other person responsible and accountable for the feelings that you caught
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
that point, because that's unfair. Because, you know, especially if it's a good person, they're going to feel obligated to probably try to be there for your feelings, and that's going to be hard on them.
Yeah.
So that can go both ways, and the dynamic of that is
This
intense.
this totally reminds me of an episode of Seinfeld when Elaine and
Here we
Jerry,
go.
Oh, and they tried to get back
where they
together.
tried to
was-
hook up
yeah,
together, and
yeah.
he made these set of rules that he
Yeah.
felt that this was going to be a clear cut, just a physical thing between the
Right,
two of them.
right.
And sure enough, eventually, one person got upset because, well, you didn't call me the next day, or you know, like, you know, so it's
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it becomes more involved. Yeah.
right.
Poetic Princess, I'm so curious to know what you think.
I think you can be friends
Okay.
with
the opposite sex.
opposite sex. Also, what you were saying, like when you have an ex situation, then it's different.
Yes, yeah.
After you've crossed that line, it's hard to come back and just
Mm-hmm.
be like, cool, like, oh, we're just gonna go to dinner and nothing's gonna feel like how it used to feel when I used to love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you've had that connection.
Yeah.
It's different if you were kind of like maybe just like going out on a couple dates and then it didn't work out.
Right.
Like, I have a friend that I dated in high school, and I think we dated for like a month. But I can still call him now. We're still cool.
Yeah.
But that's different from like if I was in a 2-year relationship with somebody and engaged, and then now you want to be friends and go to
Right.
the movies,
Yeah.
Right.
and it's not going to work out.
There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, I that's all that is I miss you and I want to
Exactly.
hang. No, it just the investment's there.
It's one of those-
The brokenness is there. It's
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. It's finished.
And that ends up with one of those stories that begins both with, well, one thing led to another kind of situations.
What had happened
Better
was
better to
Right.
just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Right.
But so outside of the relationship portion of any of it, and let's say my assumption impression in that question, I'm going to make an assumption
Okay.
that perhaps she's trying to now be friends with guys, and just to be friends for whatever reason. Maybe she's frustrated with the whole dating thing altogether, and she wants to take a break from it and just be friends with guys, get to know them, go on dates. And it sounds to me like it's possible, that the question might have stemmed from the idea that the guys might be pushing for the relationship thing, or they're pushing for a physical thing, and perhaps she wants neither one of those two things.
Right.
She just wants somebody to spend time with and hang out with as a friend, and that's it. But
Yeah.
these guys keep taking it to the next step.
Yeah, because you also have to have boundaries, and I feel like just like if you're in a relationship like us, I'm not worried about what he's gonna do because I trust him,
Right.
And I know the people that he's hanging out with. Like
Right.
I know
You communicate.
his best friend. I know her, and she's a good person, and she's married too, and it's just. Both people need to know. That's
Right.
really what it is.
Right.
If you're,
Right.
Especially if you're in a relationship, both people need to know.
Communicate and basically
Yeah.
lay down the
Yeah.
the contracts.
Yeah, just like I'm friends with you. I can go to lunch with you and
Right.
chill, and he's okay because he knows you're just Chad. Or
And I can
like,
wear his hat in the back seat. That was
put
a
it on
thing.
Instagram.
That's a
And
legit
share it on-
thing.
and
Keep
share
it
your
gangsta.
story.
Pimp. Keep it gangsta.
Yeah, like we legit hung out, had some lunch, and Gazzy was, I think you were working or whatever,
Yeah.
and so we went and had lunch, but his hat was in the back seat. So I was like, oh, is that a fitted? Is that Gazzy's fitted? Well, it's going on my head now, and I'm going to Instagram the whole thing.
Yeah,
So,
and it wasn't weird or awkward,
No.
and he was cool. Like he was cool with it.
Right.
So I think it just depends on who you're with,
yeah.
and also, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So that's the end of that. Did you want to go ahead and finish
Yeah,
your last
and also the relationship that you have with that person, like you have to know that this is just friendship. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
And they need to know that too.
thought? You have to be crystal clear. I also think, I'm just going to add too, I agree with you 100%. Are we all on the same page? I basically on
Yeah.
this whole thing?
No,
Except for
Jessica.
Jessica.
No.
Oh, Jessica, you got something?
Well, no, I already said
Yeah.
it totally
We can put
depends
the 5
on
minutes on.
No, it totally depends on the two people.
Oh, yeah.
I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
You know,
but
just like I said, I'm still friends with an ex now.
And everything's cool.
We're cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm friends with an ex too, and we don't really talk much because she's married.
He is
that's,
too.
That's awkward for the the other person, maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't assume that it is. I just we just don't talk because it's like.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You're already married. You're doing your own thing. Like we're friends, but we're around each other. That's it. you know?
Yeah, and for me, I'm honestly more comfortable around men because I grew up with boys.
Yeah.
You know, I had two brothers, so for me, I feel like I can be more of myself
Yeah.
around men than I can women because women are so catty and judgy a lot of the time.
That's a whole nother
I guess-
That's
topic.
a whole other topic there.
We
Okay.
won't go there right now.
No, but that's a good point. Okay, cool. So that's it for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to set up the next topic. This one comes from Chuppy, who he commented on one of our videos on our YouTube channel, one of our podcasts, I should say. And actually, it's Hector de Jesus, and he's also, by the way. Well, he's just a really good commenter, so I want to say thank you for all the comments you constantly put on the YouTube channel.
We appreciate it.
Yes, totally.
He's always first.
Yeah.
Except for when I am.
Yeah. You're just kind of
guys
stealing it from people.
It's
Okay.
it's like a battle of the first.
All right, so I'm going to start the timer. And, okay, so his question is, okay, so my question for the cast would be overpriced gear that people have to go and get on the day it's out. Like $400 shoes and $200 pair of J's, $150 pair or plus pair of jeans. It's all crazy to me.
That's a negative.
That's his question plus an opinion. So
Right. So what was the question exactly?
he's wondering would overpriced gear that people have to go and get. I guess he's trying to figure out what's with that? Like, why do people do that?
Chubby.
What's our
No, let me stop.
what's our opinion about people who do that? He thinks it's ridiculous. Do you guys think it's ridiculous?
No.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so there you go. We're already mixed on this one. So who wants to jump on this
I would
first?
like to jump in on this.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he does.
Oh, go for it, dude.
So
it's all
this
you.
is how I feel. I think you'll pay for anything if it's worth. If it's, what did they say? What's the saying? If it's
Of value to you?
right, you'll pay. No, that's not the phrase I'm looking for. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Your soul.
No, but basically, like, you'll pay for something if it's worth it to you. I guess if it's valuable to you,
Yeah.
you'll pay whatever you think it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it's something that you're really into, like if it's a hobby of yours, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to pay that much for that particular item or whatever it could be. It could be a book. It could be shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
was
not
going to
saying-
say, what is your hobby?
Okay, so I like to buy sneakers. That's my thing.
There it
Okay?
is.
So now I'm not sitting here. I don't buy like I don't buy one pair of shoes for $400. But
Not one pair. No.
No, but
No.
350?
no. The most I've paid for shoes is probably like $275. But
Lost my headset on that one.
but I think it's something I really like. I enjoy it. It's something that I like collecting. I like wearing them. So for me, it's worth it. I feel like I said, if it's something that you feel is valuable to you, you're going to pay what's worth.
Okay.
And
So shoes. Are a
shoes
big
are
deal for you.
shoes for me are just some of those things I'm willing to pay that much money for.
Now, do you think it's ridiculous though for people? It's kind of like the Black Friday, I think, is what he's talking about.
That's what I was thinking.
That extreme impulse where you
okay.
absolutely have to go to the store
Like
and
when-
be in that
like when the
ginormous
iPhone
line.
Like
drops.
camp out overnight.
Absolutely not. And
Yeah.
Is that ridiculous to
I
you
think
at all?
I think it depends on the item because if it's something, let's say it's electronics, no, I think that's ridiculous because those things are never going to technically sell out. You can always find those items even after Black Friday.
But
And
that's
you
your
can even-
personal opinion on it.
No, I think for electronics, I think you can find those even after Black Friday.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying, like in his case, he's talking about these not just impulsively doing it, but you're gonna wait in line for these $400 pair of shoes.
Okay, now like I said, it's different. Now
like
with
for
shoes,
instance, let me give you an example. Gazi B, wanted to have these shoes, so he had like 2 apps open, my phone, 2 computers.
because and I have to do that
Ooh,
because
Hector,
the reason
you started some smack.
the reason like when it comes, I think it depends on the item. Because
Lack of a better word.
For shoes, for example, when they usually release on a Saturday morning, and they're limited quantity. So if you have to get online, whether it's physically go to the store and wait online, or you have to, like for me, I have like a whole setup where I have a computer going, I
whole
have
setup.
2 phones going,
Right.
apps, different stores open on my phone. Because if I don't get it, it's sold out. That's it. And I'm not paying resale value because the resale prices on these items skyrocket sometimes.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the item. If it is something, like if they're limited, then yes, I think if it means that much, if it worth that much, if it's something you really want, you'll go out and do it by any
Okay.
means necessary.
That's you. Jessica, go for it.
There is nothing.
Here comes the contrast.
Nothing out there worth that for me. I'm going to find something and it's going to be on sale. I'll find it. It'll go down in price.
Well, see, no,
when
that's
it's
why
not,
I disagree.
when it's not a hot
because
item anymore.
Well, okay.
If it's a limited quantity, is what I'm saying. If it's something that they don't mass
Which
produce, it's different.
Which I understand for you because
Special product, like-
you
Right.
you like shoes. I like shoes too, but not enough to be to the extreme of 2
You're not a
computers
collector.
open, 2 phones,
Right.
camping out, waiting for something. Even like on Black Friday, I like to go just to be out.
Okay, so
in
let
the
me
crowd.
let me ask you
don't
a
collect
question.
anything,
What do you
basically.
collect?
I don't really collect anything anymore.
The Little Mermaid, but that's not rare.
Yeah, and there's nothing out there
No.
that like. So basically, you're not somebody that has to collect anything. There's nothing could be put out there that you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to wait in line for this because it's the one and only time they're gonna make this, and it's the one chance I'm gonna get this item.
No.
Because okay, so that's
'Cause it
you're just
used to
not.
be.
Well, yeah, I guess in that sense it makes sense for you not to do that.
Yeah,
I think. But
that's the
is there
difference
something
between
that
the
you
both
like
of
to
you.
collect?
Yeah, I do, but I won't go out of my way to grab something.
Man, am I the only person
No,
that does
no.
this?
This is okay, but this is a
Obviously
good
not.
question.
No, you're not.
This to me is a great question because this is where you know the differences between people, which is what this whole show is about anyway. At some point, we're all friends amongst each other, but we have our differences. Gazi B goes out of his way to get something that he absolutely wants to collect that's rare. To him, that is a personally rare piece of something that he finds important to him. And because he has it, he finds the value to it. A lot of other people may not do the same, especially with shoes. Some people will do it with toys or whatever the case may be. His is shoes. Me personally, no, I do not have a thing, like even if it's Star Wars. Now, the closest, I will say this, the closest to that is when I bought my Millennium Falcon and my X-Wing and a TIE Fighter. I bought a bunch of Star Wars toys when the new Star Wars movies when the prequels were made. And they put out a new line that I thought was awesome. So I did jump on that immediately to collect them, but I didn't I didn't spend extra money on them or, go out of my way to stand in line or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, I might have thought about it at that time. So I do understand where people have that passion. I do get that. I understand it.
Now you did, and you actually vlogged about it when you were going to San Diego for Comic-Con. You vlogged about sitting and waiting for the time slots to open for you to buy your tickets, and you never could.
That I tried to do that.
So you have done it.
Oh, yeah. In that case, yeah, because, and that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and I've never.
I retract everything. I'm bringing it back.
I guess I'm in between.
I retract that partial statement.
Yeah. I guess, okay, yes, I can be very passionate about getting an opportunity, because that's all about opportunity is what it really boils down to. And you're right, I did get into a situation where I put myself out there and I shared it with the audience on my own YouTube channel.
You did.
That's true. Good point. Okay. I'm right there with you, bro. So yes, I do find value
in certain
moments
things.
for that. Yeah, absolutely, sure. And I think it's up to the person.
Yeah.
I don't think that either person is correct in saying that it's a dumb thing or not so dumb thing.
And I will say, I recently did it myself. I'm going to call myself out on that.
Oh, wow. This is...
What did you do?
The sloth experience.
Oh, that's true.
You're right. Yeah.
I sweat that calendar for like 2 months.
That's true.
Because they only do it at certain times during the day and they only allow a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
And I'm paying a pretty penny to do it.
Can you explain what the sloth experience is for the audience to understand it?
It's a wild preservation place here locally in Central Florida where it's called Wild Florida. You can go do airboat rides, see alligators, all these exotic animals and stuff. Well, they have an encounter where you can go into the sloth enclosure with the sloth.
Yeah.
You can pay a certain price to just be kind of in there with it.
Yeah.
Or you can pay like triple price and you can actually hold it.
Okay.
And for me, like I said, that's a bucket list item for me. I cannot wait to cuddle this thing.
That's great.
Like I'm so yes, I'm calling myself on that on that one. I did.
So that moment that you
sweat
had
the
is how I
calendar.
am every Saturday.
Wait.
But see,
Saturday?
No, I've cut back
Oh,
on
he
it.
told on himself.
Not anymore.
Every Saturday. Really?
Okay,
so-
Saturday.
This
Okay,
has been
so
going
for
on
me-
for how long?
Yeah. For me, it was few and far in between.
Right.
I guess.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I never even would have thought of that. Yeah. And you called me out on a good one. So that's wow. What about you? Poetic Princess.
I don't know.
Do you have anything?
I don't think I have anything.
No, I don't think she
like
really
that.
has.
Yes,
No.
you do. Yes, you do.
What is it?
Ooh.
I don't
It's not that
remember.
you have to buy it. But what did you do the other night? You stayed up with your best friend till midnight to
Oh, to
download the
listen to
new
a podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. When they had the listening party, she's up at like midnight. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, there's a podcast coming up. It's a live listening party. I'm like,
I'm putting you all on blast.
You know what? We can't have Jessica for these kind of questions anymore.
it's like a
So, yeah,
Tyler Perry
forgot
episode
about
right
that.
now.
She's even calling herself out.
We're apparently all guilty of this.
Yeah,
So
I forgot about that.
Wow.
Well, I didn't pay for it though. It was
Okay.
free.
But it's still something that you took.
Yeah, it's
you
something that I-
What you spent was your time to
Yes.
do that, though.
Okay, so the timer is at 1 second and it's done right there. But we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up this podcast. But before this happens, I have to ask Hector a question now. If you are watching or listening to this, what is it that you're passionate about, and is there anything that you might do for that passion? And if you can do so, if you can take some time to think about that based on this podcast, can you comment that to us and let us know what you think?
And it doesn't have to be something you spend money on. It could be something you spend your time on.
Yeah, like a hobby or something that
Right.
you're really, really passionate about. Yeah, like he said, like waiting for something or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Because I set an alarm for that.
And anybody else who's listened to this podcast, by all means, please tell us what you're passionate about. And is there anything that you're so passionate about that you would wait for something or spend an extra amount of money on. I'm absolutely fascinated with this idea. I really want to know what I never thought about this whole thing going out this way. This is great.
Well, okay.
No, go ahead.
Real quick. So it's not a matter. I think it depends. Now, is the question twofold? Because are we asking if it's something you pay extra for,
Well,
or
he
is
did
it
specify monetary, but I mean, it does.
because
I
the way I think about it is that, like I said, you pay something if it's worth to you. Now, the stuff that you may buy, if it's retail, then that's different. But if it's something that's reselling at a higher price, then no, I'm not. Like if there's let's just say there's a pair of shoes that I wanted and I didn't get it because I didn't get it that morning. It was sold out. Those same shoes, people will go and flip them and sell them for like twice the amount. I'm not going to be that person who's going to. Now, there are people
You're
who
not
do
gonna
that.
be
though.
that guy.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not the
You're
person who's going
collecting
to.
it.
Right. I'm not going to be the person. If I'm buying something, I'm buying it retail. I'm not going to buy a shoe on resale, like paying an extra $100 for it because I know it's sold out. I'm not going to be that person to do that. But there are people who legitimately go out their way and would actually spend $200-$300 more than a retail price.
Yeah, no,
for
just
those
to
shoes.
have them.
Just to have them.
Okay, and I think he's also just talking about people who overprice, like pay a higher dollar. Like for example, like oh my God, those jeans have holes in them. I'm going to pay an extra $100 on.
No, the only thing that covers
And
the
it's
butt.
ridiculous, you know what I mean?
Right.
But people will find a value for that on their own personal.
Right. Exactly.
Just because we did shorten it, so I just want to throw in an extra thought since you threw it in there. Do you guys have any extra thoughts as well?
I don't think so.
No.
Final thoughts with Jerry.
Final. Yeah. So the final thought I would say on this one is I think it depends on what your reason is. Mm-hmm. Are you buying these shoes to show off to the world how special you are? Because I think that's where the underlining problem comes when people do something like this.
And I think that's a lot of what it is.
Yeah, if you're going to go out and spend $400 on something that maybe not other people would be spending that money on, but you're just doing it to show off that you have them, it's one thing to be able to share. It's another thing to show off. It kind of goes into the sloppy cheeseburger conversation again. If you're just doing it for the sake of showing off how cool you are because you got the $400 pair of J's, maybe, because that's kind of sloppy. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. But if you're doing it because you personally like to see them on the shelf or wherever you put them in your house, that's different. Like if you got those holes, that pair of jeans with the holes in it,
And you don't wear it.
and you don't, well, I mean,
Well, you could still wear it, but if it's like you
it
said-
depends on what you're doing it for. But if
Right.
you're doing it to validate yourself from other people to show off like how great you are for some kind of egotistical thing,
Yeah.
I guess that's where I would personally think it's stupid or there's a problem there.
Right.
And maybe you might want to check yourself on something like that. I would have to check myself.
But if you're someone like, for example, who's really into fashion, maybe like you're
Right.
you're like passionate about fashion, and
Right.
that's something you're really into, then that's something that $400 you spend on those jeans might be something that you feel is worth it.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
valuable to you, so you would spend that money on it if it's something that you feel it's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I wouldn't want to put somebody else down because they're passionate about something. They want to spend the money, a little extra money that nobody else would have spent on something. But, I mean, just yesterday we were looking at a liquor list at a cigar place, and there was like a $45,000 bottle of liquor.
Oh, yeah.
It was a $45,000 bottle of whiskey is what it was. And so I'm thinking to myself, I would never buy that,
But somebody
but
would.
somebody would.
but somebody would.
But if $45,000 is, pocket change for somebody,
somebody
that's
else.
not going to be
True.
anything.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true.
They're just going to bat an eye at that,
And once again, if somebody bought that $45,000 bottle of liquor for I don't know, just because of curiosity, or they want to share it with their friends, or
I'd
they
be
just
like,
want to have it
"Hey!"
on the shelf, just so that, I don't know, maybe just I don't know, because it's a collector's item, sure. But if they're showing off that they spent for, you know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
showing off that, hey, I have $45,000 that I can just blow on a
Yeah.
bottle of liquor, that's just kind of petty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Hashtag.
petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sloppy cheeseburger.
Sloppy cheeseburger all the way.
People are
Third
different.
sloppy
That's what makes the
cheeseburger.
world go round.
That's true, yeah. Okay, so we're going to officially end this podcast now, and I just want to say thank you for listening and watching, and please, by all means, comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you think, what you would do if you disagree or even agree with any of us. Call us out. That's fine. We'll we can bring it up in another segment or something. I'm Ruckus IIV. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Just Ruckus IIV. You can also find me on my other YouTube channel. That's Ruckus IIV. I do vlogs there. You can check that out. We are Ruckus IIV and friends on Instagram and
Check out
Twitter.
that Comic-Con vlog.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can check out the Comic-Con blog. And I have an entire explanation of the whole thing, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check that out, guys. Definitely. Yeah. not plugging myself at all.
Hey, I plug for you.
I'm Ruckus. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. Ruckus IIV. This is Gazzy B, Poetic Princess, and Jessica.
See ya.
Peace out.